This time we're joined by the representatives from the Little Rock Trojans. We have head coach Joe Foley, as well as number 13, Sharday Collins, and number 20, Shanity James. This time we'll ask Coach Foley to please make a brief opening statement, then we'll open it to questions.
Well, I thought today you saw a game of two different halves, both teams. Both teams in the first half didn't shoot it very well, struggled offensively a little bit, and then I thought both teams got on track the second half and played pretty good basketball. So it ended up being a good game, a close game, a very athletic game. I thought there was a lot of good plays made, so to me it was just we executed really well that second half.
This time we'll ask for questions for the student athletes only, and please wait for the microphone and identify yourself by name and media outlet. We have one right here on the right. Got a mic for him.
Troy Schulte, Democrat Gazette. Shanity, can you take me through that first half? I mean, just kind of what was your thoughts as it was going? Were you thinking, man, we're going to have to win this with our defense again, or just kind of take me through kind of what you were thinking through the first 20 minutes there?
Going into every game, we kind of think we have to win the game with the defense. We start with our defense, and that's what we talk about. We talked about getting 3 stops to start off with. So just going into the game, that's what we always have our mindset is.
Go ahead, Troy.
Sharday, can you take me through your third quarter? I mean, what was happening to kind of get you open and get some shots, and what kind of got you pretty comfortable there in the third quarter?
The first half, it was just too close, so I just knew something had to happen. Knew my team had to work, so.
Additional questions? Go ahead, Troy.
Can you guys both just kind of speak on just kind of winning this first one and getting it out of the way? I've heard about, just kind of nerves coming into a tournament like this, different atmosphere, just kind of getting out of the way and being able to kind of really relax on the day off tomorrow and get it going again Friday.
Well, it's always good to get that first win. We'll be sitting in New Orleans, so that's good. Don't get to go back to Little Rock. So we're pretty excited about that. And just to be able to continue the tournament, we're grateful for it.
Sharday, any thoughts on that?
I second that.
Any further questions for the student athletes? Okay, thank you very much. You two can head back to the locker room. We'll move it on to questions for Coach Foley at this time. Go ahead.
Joe, can you just take me through what specifically kind of opened up for you guys offensively in that third quarter? I mean, Sharday got open, for some shots, but what kind of was working to allow for that to happen, I guess?
Well, we made a couple of adjustments. We knew they were playing 1-2-2, 3-2 type zone. First half, we didn't, we just tried to use basic stuff, and then the second half, we went to some stacks and tried to create some positions for her to get some good looks. And fortunately, she got a couple of good looks and knocked it down. They gave us a little more confidence. We were able to get the ball inside a little bit better. They had to play a little bit more man in the second half, so we got to utilize our post players a little bit more the second half and isolate them a little more. So it opened up our offense for us a little bit.
Go ahead.
You said before that, even when Sharday is struggling, you guys need her to shoot. I mean, was that the feeling again today, just like you said, to try and open things up for her, even though she had the greatest of first halves? I mean, was it confidence in her, just necessity, or what?
Well, we need her to take some shots. When she gets open looks, we need to take those shots. And Sharday's good enough. She's proved all year she's a good enough shooter. That she shoots a high enough percentage. Eventually, some of them's going to go in. AD hit a couple of big threes there for us. So both of them kind of got untracked a little bit. And when you're playing, we're playing against the zone. You got to hit a couple of those jump shots to kind of get you loose. And I thought both of them hit some big shots for us and kind of got us loose.
Do you feel like your defense overall was up to par today, and was it them?
Yeah, I thought it was really good, except on Anderson. And I don't know, we tried everybody we had, and she's just that kind of athlete, and she can make a lot. She made us foul a lot. That was the only thing that we didn't do real well was guarding her, but that's a hard chore. And we, like you say, you can see we used 3 different people, and it was all we could do, but it was good enough to win.
We're joined with the representatives from Texas State Bobcats. We have head coach Zenere Antoine, as well as number 1, Ariel Anderson, and number 24, Raven Burns. I'd like to start off with Coach Antoine making a brief opening statement, please.
I really appreciate being able to coach these 2 young women to my left here. I know it's always tough anytime you have to end the season, especially the way we ended the season being 0-7. But I do say the one thing I appreciate about them is that they gave it all they had in the last 2 games. They did a great job for us as far as facilitating what it is we needed to do game plan-wise, who they needed to talk to, and for sure scoring for us, because the one thing we didn't have this year is we did not have a go-to player. And those 2 found ways to score for us. I feel like that's truly important. that they finished strong as Bobcats. And so that's my takeaway from the game. It's obvious that we lost the game there in the third quarter. We came back. We had some easy missed layups. We had some turnovers that they converted, and you just can't do that against a team like Little Rock, who's been to the tournament multiple times, that understands what they need to do. They're still the second-place team in our conference as well. You do those things, you miss easy layups, you have critical turnovers, and they convert them. I mean, you're playing catch-up for some time, and by the time we're able to get them, we ran out of time, and that really is the name of the game.
I'd like to open it to questions for the student athletes first, please. You get a mic on your left, too, on the other side.
Joe Vazzelli from the San Marcos Daily Record. For Ariel, it seemed, most of your points were at the free throw line tonight. Was that sort of the attitude, get to the rim and see if I could score there?
Yes, the game plan was to score in the paint and just attack off the ball screens and, get to the free throw line. And I was able to do that early in the first half and not really so much in the second half, but I feel like we kept attacking. So, yeah, that was the game plan.
And they were saying, too, that, they had multiple people match up against you and you were able to still get to the rim. Were you feeling confident that no matter who you were going up against, you'd have a good chance to get in there and getting some points?
Yes, sir. I mean, my post set really good screens, so if I was able to drive them off of it and get them on their heels a little bit, I knew I was going to be able to get to the rim or get to the free throw line.
For Raven, you hit a three-pointer there, and I think on the other end, you came really close to getting the steal there, and it was within about 7. Would that have been, you feel like if you maybe got that steal, that would have been a key sequence in getting you guys really back in the game because you were right there at in that time?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I feel like after I made my three, I was feeling because at the beginning I was in foul trouble. So whenever I got myself going for my team, I just had to do whatever I could. And yeah, the steal could have helped us, get some momentum into the game, but it didn't work out like that.
I know for both of you this is a tough question, but what are you going to remember the most about your career at Texas State? Both of you have had great finishes to your senior year.
Me personally, just how hard the coaches pushed us and how hard our team worked to get to the conference tournament every 4 years I was here and back-to-back postseasons. Just how hard the program fought throughout coaches, staff, all that.
I'm going to remember most getting to the conference tournaments every 4 years. That felt good. I got to travel a lot, all these great opportunities because of basketball. And thanks, Coach Z.
Yeah, thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Student athletes, you guys can head back to the locker room now.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and open it up to questions for Coach Antoine.
Coach, during the first half, really created a lot of problems, defensively for them. It was really a defensive posture to the first half. Did you kind of expect going in that might have been the scenario in that first half?
Oh, for sure. That's one of the things that he does well, and one of the areas we've struggled is scoring. So if we could keep it close, I felt really good. So I felt great, honestly, going into halftime. But I also knew that this is a team that clearly understands, and James is a relentless player. Obviously, Alexis Dons is taking them to the tournament as well. And so it's going to be really important that our start in the second half, third quarter was going to, be critical for us. But game plan-wise, the kids did a great job of executing it. The fact that their layups didn't fall, the fact that we turned the ball over, that isn't necessarily a part of the game plan. Generally make your layups, don't turn the ball over. But as far as executing the game plan, the kids did an excellent job of that defensively as well as what we asked them to do offensively. And they knew, Holler scores are coming in the paint. Kicks for threes will be great, but we have to change who we are because it's been obvious on film that we've had some struggles, and that's what happened. We had opportunities to score in the paint. I think we actually outscored them in the paint, which I don't remember the last time this team has done that with any one win or loss.
Coach Foley for them was saying that he felt like Ariel was just a tough matchup for them, and whoever they put on her, she was still able to get to the rim. Talk about what she was able to do because she scored half her points at the free throw line.
She did. I think Ariel understood after watching film. This is a young woman who wants to be a coach and wants to continue her playing career as well. She clearly understood the game plan coaching-wise was to be able to get in the paint, that we're going to be able to get to some easy looks in the paint because they deny at times or they're really tough there on your shooters, which we have in Caitlin Wallen and Raven Burns, that she'll get some easy looks if she can go up against a little bit of size and be bumped and finish some layups. That would be great as well as get to the free throw line.
We're going to slide to Troy here on the right.
You kind of touched on it, but with the level that they've been playing defense lately, I mean, what did you think you guys had to bring on defense to really kind of match that? It seems like you guys got a half out of some pretty good defense, but did you think you kind of needed to extend that intensity into the second half and through the fourth quarter, I guess?
Yeah, I think the one thing, I didn't think that we're going to be able to press them the way we did, to be honest with you, after watching them. They're not a team that people press. They did a pretty good job. My kids were able to turn them over, so I was pretty excited about that. Of course, you look back like, well, geez, I wonder if we were pressed early, if it would have helped. But, that's coaching. You always kind of second-guess yourself. But the one area that I really appreciate is our kids moved quickly and did a great job of their movement in our zone. This is a team, I think, that if you do a good job with your movement, and we doubled James quite a bit, that we're going to be able to force some turnovers or force some tough shots as long as we can rebound out of it. That was going to be critical. I think we did a pretty good job sustaining. We got in a little bit of foul trouble, so that hurt us somewhat. I'm pretty skimpy in the low block right now. So we had some kids that got fatigued. I put a freshman in for a little while. She didn't do that bad at all. I'm actually pretty proud of her. But long term, I think in the third quarter, really it came more down to maybe fatigue. That's why we missed layups. And fatigue with turning the ball over, but not necessarily defensively.
In Sharday Collins, 13 for them was pretty big in the third quarter. And
Huge.
She struggled kind of on and off this year. What was kind of the scout on her? What was your guys' kind of opinion on her?
She's not a three-point shooter. Force her to shoot the mid-range shot. I had to call a timeout when she hit those 6 shots in a row. Like, come on, we did a very poor job of making that slide. We got so concerned about hanging out in the paint and tracking on Dawns. When Sharday would cut along the baseline there, we were very slow to the closeout. And when we would close out, she'd just do a simple, jab step, jumper. And 2 of those were contested. The other one wasn't. So it was really important that our kids understand you got to keep her, you got to still be in her face knowing that she's not a three-point shooter. That kid's got a really nice jumper.
Beck, you good? One more?
One more. Yeah, I know it was a tough finish, but looking forward to next year, you've got a lot of players coming back. I know it's really early, but what do you make of kind of moving into the new year?
I think we just went from being a very young team to being a veteran team in our conference where right now we're going to have 6 juniors. That includes Aaron Peoples returning. That includes Amber Jones, who tore ACL also, in our second game. You include that with the sophomore class of kids that have been playing quite a bit for us, Whitney Apari, Taylor Deere, and, of course, Erica May. They're returning for us. Caitlin Wall will be a junior as well. It's going to be a really interesting year, I think, because we have a lot of kids that are going to come back, kids that have played. There'll be a little bit more adversity. And, we could still add to that class as well. But currently we're at 6 juniors and 1 senior. So you're talking about 7 veterans coming back. Of course, the goal would be to win a championship. I think that's relatively realistic as long as we stay healthy. We're going to work hard to do that. And, you could look just, right outside there, Arkansas State has a team of 5 starters that are seniors. There's something to be said. You can see it in men's basketball as well. When you have kids that play together for a period of time that have been cut, burnt, slight, whatever you want to say it, there's a hunger there. And I really think you're going to find that we have some kids on this team that are going to be really hungry. Even though Erin Peoples isn't here, I think she clearly understands, this is going to keep her hungry. I think a kid like Caitlin Walla, who was, 4A State Player of the Year in Texas, 1 state MVP, she's going to be hungry, and she's not going to let something like this happen.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Thank you. I appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys covering women's basketball.